Taxpayers in one of Northwest Indiana's most violent communities are going to be paying more for protection. This week, the Gary Common Council voted to raise police officer pay by $2,500, with more pay raises promised. At the same time that Gary is experiencing an uptick in violent crime, it's also been experiencing a spate of police resignations. While that may be affecting the department's ability to keep officers on the streets, those resignations are helping to make the pay raises possible. Gary Fraternal Order of Police President Sam Abeg says that at current salaries, it's not only difficult to entice officers to join the force, but it's also hard to get them to stay when nearby communities are paying more. Abeg says the council's vote is a move in the right direction, but wouldn't call it a win.
To see the entire proposal through, that when they submit the 2016 budget before the council for a final approval, that it does include not only the $2,500 increase for this year, but the additional $5,000 increase that they are proposing for 2016.
Gary Mayor Karen Freeman Wilson has pledged to raise wages for police officers by $10,000 over the next 3 years. As the new school year gets underway, the Gary Police Department is giving parents and caregivers a heads up about laws that will be strictly enforced in order to ensure a safe, prosperous, and fun year for all Gary students. The city's attendance law holds parents accountable if children have 10 or more unexcused absences. Gary Guardians are also legally obligated to provide schools with an up-to-date address for their children. And parents need to make sure children 17 and under are not in violation of the city's curfew laws, keeping them off the streets from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Sunday through Thursday and from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. each Friday and Saturday. Parents who do not comply with the city's rules for school could face possible jail time and a fine of up to $1,000. One local lawmaker has taken herself out of the running for the state's top legislative office, and she's telling Lakeshore Report why her campaign is no longer an option. State Senator did not seek the Democratic Party nomination for governor. The senator officially withdrew her name on Monday. The Italian had raised more than $24,000. She told Lakeshore that simply wasn't enough financial support to continue her campaign. The senator says she was humbled to receive encouragement from all corners of the state, but says she was lacking the much-needed backing of unions.
I just spent the last 10 years being the ranking member of Pensions and Labor Committee in the Senate, and pretty much the voice of labor in the Senate. I thought that might have gone a long way towards garnering some of that support. I am still on all of the summer study committees that are meeting. So yesterday we had one. I'm going to have another one. I will be back at my job in the Senate.
With Talian's withdrawal, John Gregg is now the sole Democrat set to run against incumbent Governor Mike Pence. A new pilot program in Lake County is trying to ensure that all residents feel like a welcomed and valuable part of the region. The All-In Build a Positive Community Committee is using a little educational entertainment to promote the idea of community inclusion. It's showing the documentary film Reject over the next couple of weeks at Maryville High School. The film is an effort to fight ostracism, or the tendency for some individuals to be excluded from a society or group. The program is part of a statewide effort from Purdue University Extension to bring awareness to inclusion.
Reject is a harsh term, and I think that it's an attention grabber right away because as individuals, we don't want to feel rejected, and it causes us to think about how we might be treating others as well as how we are treated.
Our own Hillary Powell is part of the All-In Committee. For more information about how to see the movie Reject, log on to our website at lakeshorepublicmedia.org. Some Northwest Indiana steelworkers are bargaining that a big show of solidarity will help them keep their benefits, and some high-flying technology is proving beneficial to one local fire department. Those stories just ahead on Lakeshore Report.
Lakeshore Report wants to hear from you. Send your thoughts, concerns, questions, and story ideas to tvfeedback@lakeshorepublicmedia.org. You can also reach us on Facebook and Twitter at Lakeshore Report. Make sure to tweet us using the hashtag NWIPride, and you may see your comments on air. Lakeshore Report, providing you region-focused content.
Some Northwest Indiana steelworkers are pounding the pavement to make a point about fair wages and benefits in the midst of contract talks. Lakeshore Report's Hillary Powell went to East Chicago to find out why local unions are rallying workers outside an area mill.
No, Feet on the ground and flag holding hands in the air. Hundreds of steel workers marched Wednesday to mandate fair changes to a proposed new contract. Their current one ends September 1st.
Today we are just marching to our main headquarters for local 1010 and 1011. Nobody likes to go out and demonstrate, but we want to demonstrate to the company that we're here for the long haul, that we've been active, we're going to be proactive in our approach. We're not looking to cause any work stoppage or anything like that.
And what they call practice pickets, United Steelworkers from local unions 1010 and 1011 rallied in East Chicago this week to support basic labor agreement talks happening in Pittsburgh.
We don't want to lose anything that's been fought for by the generations before us. We want a fair wage. We do very dangerous work out there in the mill. I mean, if somebody gets hurt out there, it's not just a paper cut. They're getting killed. We got a whole wall at our union hall dedicated to fallen workers who've gotten killed on the job. Yeah, so it's something we take very serious as a union.
Steelworkers and retirees dressed in gold and navy snake their way down Michigan Street to the ArcelorMittal West Annex. Workers say they want officials at both U.S. Steel and ArcelorMittal to know some 30,000 workers nationwide depend on their jobs to support families. There's a sea of sound, horns honking their support behind me. These demonstrators say although they're not at the bargaining table, they surely want their opinions heard. We reached out to officials at ArcelorMittal who declined to comment on camera. They issued a statement saying they respect the right of USW represented employees to peacefully demonstrate, but say fixed costs and a 50% decline in steel pricing means contract negotiations likely won't stay the same. Seifert says though he won't know specifics until bargaining ends, he's concerned about impacts to retiree health care and a potential two-tiered wage system for new union members.
No peace.
Union members say they want to keep working, and with another rally planned this week, they will surely keep speaking out. In East Chicago, Hillary Powell, Lakeshore Report.
A high-tech tool being used by the United States in its fight against terror is also now an important weapon in the arsenal of one local fire department. Lakeshore reporter Stephen Lattimore shows how cutting-edge technology is helping keep civilians and first responders safe.
Firefighters have a number of weapons at their disposal when they go out to save people's lives. A good fire truck, a stout crew helps, but now there is a new weapon. It's called the drone. About a year ago, the Cedar Lake fire chief was watching a real estate broker using a drone to check out houses, and he thought this might be helpful in fighting fires. He says the drone has revolutionized his ability to save lives.
While we're getting our resources geared up to go out there to check on people that have fallen through the ice, we felt that this thing would be a really nice tool to send out there to get some footage to see what we were dealing with before we went out. So as the guys are getting geared up to go out there, we can do a recon, go out there and check out the situation, and then come back and be able to tell the emergency responders how what they're actually dealing with out there.
Cedar Lake now has the ability to investigate fires by identifying burn patterns from above. He has numerous examples where it has helped their ability to rescue a victim or keep his crews safe.
We had an ammonia leak out of an ammonia tanker, and we didn't know what type of tools we needed to take with us because we didn't know we didn't know exactly what was leaking on it, what valves. So we flew the drone to the location and got a good look at the area where it was leaking, and then we were able to take the proper tools and the proper precautions and go in there and actually shut the ammonia leak off. We had a serious accident in our community where one of the vehicles ended up on the lake, and we had to actually go out on the lake and do an extrication out of the vehicle. And we flew the drone out there to keep an eye on our responders because it was dangerous. You're out on the ice and you had a vehicle, and these guys were in ice suits and trying to do an extrication. So we wanted to keep our eyes on them the whole time so that if something catastrophic happened, we had a second crew ready to go.
It helps them see the roof of a building for potential problems and protect his firefighters and civilians.
Being able to see the top part of a structure a little bit better if it's on fire, you can get a good look at it and see what the integrity of the roof is, whether or not we should be entering or not. It's just another real good tool that we thought would help the department.
The chief has also used the drone to check traffic patterns at large events. It can also be used to search for missing children, and if you add a thermal imaging camera, you can find heat signatures of people in buildings or at night. The unit costs about $1,500, and the chief says it's worth every penny, and it's easy to use.
Real-time 1080 pictures. We can hook it to your phone, you can hook it to a laptop, an iPad, or even a TV, a larger screen, so that you actually have the footage in a very clear picture. That's real important when it comes to being able to pinpoint issues within the incident.
The current drone they're using doesn't have the infrared camera. That adds about $8,000 to $10,000 to the cost. They're going to be holding a fundraiser so that they can make an upgrade. In Cedar Lake, Stephen Lattimore, Lakeshore Report.
Twice a month, Lakeshore Report teams up with the Society of Innovators of Northwest Indiana and Ivy Tech Community College Initiative to showcase some of the most forward-thinking ideas the region has to offer. Today we're showcasing an effort to help students make career plans and tailor classes to help reach career goals. The collaborative effort, in conjunction with the Center for Workforce Innovations in Valparaiso, has local schools preparing students to be not just career ready, but career savvy.
Ready NWI is really a grassroots initiative started here in Northwest Indiana. The businesses wanted to help the schools develop students that were ready for the workforce, and the superintendents were really thrilled to hear that there were jobs in Northwest Indiana for which they could help develop their students for. Nearly 100 people came together and developed a plan of action that focused on best practices throughout the country that would help move an agenda forward of making sure that our students here in Northwest Indiana were college and career ready when they were leaving high school. The leadership team consists of about 12 people who represent business, education, post-secondary education, economic development, and labor. So we have kind of a wide range of folks from different disciplines who are, once again, all weighing in to give their perspective, to offer their insights, and to kind of help with the implementation of READY. The READY initiative really connects within the school system, because one of our kind of major initiatives or platforms is to make sure that every student has a career plan that's part of a career pathway. And so each school that is a READY school, even if the child changes career plans or pathways, it's a starting point to get them focused on something that they want to do after high school. And then it kind of aligns all of their classes and their curriculum and their benchmarks around that career plan so that they, once again, have a goal. READY is an initiative that we have found out in some ways replicate some other communities where there are these collaboratives working on trying to get students ready for college and careers and increasing persistence rates in college. And what I'm finding out is that READY is one of the only initiatives that has the business education partnership as a foundation of the initiative. So it is, I'd say, innovative in that respect. Rarely have I found an initiative where the business community has really driven the initiative alongside the K through 12 system. I believe that the future is very bright for people here in Northwest Indiana. For folks, young people as well as adults who want to change careers, there are ample opportunities to do that and resources to do that. And so I'd say, like, shoot for the stars, take the time to learn about what you want to do, and then reach out to people to help you get where you can go.
Over the past several years, electronic or e-cigarettes have grown in popularity. Today's e-cigarette users include a growing number of teenagers, many who have never smoked tobacco. A new study looked at whether young teens that begin using e-cigarettes might also be more likely to experiment with smokable tobacco products. Catherine Dolph explains in this week's JAMA Report.
E-cigarettes first entered the market as an alternative for adults who wanted to quit smoking. But over the years, things have changed.
They come in attractive flavors like cotton candy, bubble gum. They're very high-tech, and, they're modern and they're cool.
Which helps make them very popular with young people. Michelle Mercado, now in her 20s, smokes regular cigarettes, but also started using e-cigarettes in her teens.
I do see a lot of people, like high schoolers and like young adults, getting into the whole vape pen and the e-cigarette thing.
Dr. Adam Leventhal from the University of Southern California Keck School of Medicine and co-authors surveyed more than 2,300 Los Angeles area high school students at the beginning of 9th grade. Students included in the survey all reported never using any smokable tobacco products.
We compared teens who had used e-cigarettes to teens who hadn't, and we looked to see whether there were differences between those two groups in the initiation of smoking of combustible tobacco products.
These students were surveyed again 6 months later and also when entering 10th grade.
The teens who used e-cigarettes were more than 4 times more likely to start smoking than the teens who hadn't used e-cigarettes. The associations were consistent across all the different types of tobacco products, regular cigarettes, cigars, or even hookah tobacco water pipe.
The study appears in JAMA, Journal of the American Medical Association.
They were more likely to use 2 or more products for the first time during high school in comparison to teens who hadn't used e-cigarettes.
This trend continued as the students entered 10th grade. Even when adjusting for other factors like peer pressure, impulsive tendencies, and socioeconomic status, all risk factors for starting smoking, these associations remained.
This uptick that we're seeing in adolescent e-cigarette use could potentially down the road lead to a new generation of tobacco smokers.
Catherine Dolph, The JAMA Report.
This was an observational study. Further research is needed to determine whether the association between e-cigarette use and subsequent smoking is causal. A Chicago man is looking at a very big payday when he sells his 1968 Ernie Banks game-worn flannel jersey, one of only a dozen known to exist. Randy Boomer Berman got the jersey as a gift 30 years ago, and now that gift is valued at around $150,000. The longtime Cubs fan hates to let it go, but he wants to put the money aside for his family. California-based SCP Auctions is selling the jersey with bidding set to end this Saturday, August 22nd.
I got a 1968 game-worn Ernie Banks jersey. It was given to my uncle in the early 70s by Ernie Banks himself in Scottsdale, Arizona. My uncle coached his kids at the Scottsdale Boys and Girls Club during spring training time, and as a thank you, the players gave him all a jersey type thing. And it was just an exciting thing to obviously get jerseys and stuff. And my uncle had it in his closet, and then a few years later I was born, and he gave it to me as a birthday gift. I've had his jersey on my wall my whole life, so he's definitely, he's Mr. Cub. He's always been my favorite Cub or favorite baseball player. He was my dad's favorite player, so we kind of just was born into it. I have a great picture. I was probably 6 or 7 at the time, and we have the picture of Ernie Banks, my dad, and with the jersey in a frame, and I'm crying on my dad's shoulder, so my head's buried in my dad's shoulder. It's awesome. I always knew I had it, and I had the jersey, and it was cool, but it was always just hanging on my wall. I didn't even realize what I had. I knew the coolness factor, but I didn't realize the rarity and the special uniqueness I had. And help the family and see what I can do for the future.
It's time for The Times, our exclusive sneak preview of some of the top stories in this Sunday's Northwest Indiana Times. Occasionally, we'll talk to the reporters behind some of those stories in the state's second largest newspaper. This week, Times staff writer Jim Peters previews the kickoff of an action-packed Northwest Indiana high school football season.
Well, we'll be having our 48-page pull-out section previewing the season in Friday's edition, complete with information on all the teams, rosters, pictures, outlooks, to just let everybody know what to expect for the coming season. Each Friday we'll have our prep zone, which will preview that night's biggest games. And right here in town, just up on Broadway, Andrean against Maryville, two of the top teams in the area again this year, in a rivalry that's really renewed in recent years as both teams have been very good. Crown Point against Lowell, two teams that are projected to both be very good this season. And now a little bit to the east in LaPorte County, LaPorte against New Prairie, which is a extremely large rivalry over there, and matching up two teams who were state finalists. Saturday, football Saturday, we're actually debuting what will be a 3-section sports section extravaganza, spectacular, whatever hyperbole we want to put on it. But we'll have a pull-out section featuring a wide range of the games that we will be covering with reporters and photographers on Friday night. We have Maryville ranked as our preseason #1 team, but we also expect we have Lowell right up there, Lake Central, Crown Point. We expect some big things in the smaller school, among the smaller schools from Whiting in Class 2A. They have potential to make a deep run in the playoffs this season. So. Big crowds expected at every game, so anybody going out to those would be well served to get an early bite or wait to eat afterwards and get out and get your tickets earlier in advance and get your seat while you can and enjoy some great high school football.
The Times will also have coverage online and via their mobile app, and you can catch live game updates Friday night during game night on 89.1 FM, the Lakeshore, from 6 to 10:30, and watch highlights from the top games during PFR Scoreboard right here on Lakeshore Public Television. And don't forget, for more information on any of our stories, you can go to lakeshorepublicmedia.org. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you next time on Lakeshore Report.
Hi, joining me for this edition of Eye on the Arts is Tricia Hernandez, Director of Marketing and Development for the Northwest Indiana Symphony. Trish, nice to have you back.
Thanks, John. Nice to be here.
So, in just 5 short weeks or so, we are always on deadlines of some kind.
We are.
You never catch up. But so the next big thing is, tell us about it.
We are opening our 74th season for the symphony, and we're opening it with a concert called Hooray for Hollywood, which should be really fun, your favorite music from movies. And the opening concert also has a gala, so people can just come to the opening concert and see it at the Star Plaza Theater and enjoy movie music like from Star Trek and Spider-Man and Gone with the Wind, that type of music. So, or you can also add a gala package and come to the gala ahead of time at the Radisson. We'll eat and drink, be merry, go to the concert, and then afterwards there's a champagne and dessert reception with the musicians. So it's a nice way to start the season and then finish the evening with a reception.
Nice season kickoff. And
it is.
We honor some patrons
who
have been loyal and generous and wonderful to us, and we have, in fact, along with that, just as a little teaser, we have a big surprise at intermission, at the start of the second half of the concert, with regard to the awarding of our patrons.
Yes,
this year.
we do.
Yeah, that'll be fun, but we're not going to tell what
that is.
No, we aren't.
I didn't know if you were cueing me to say that or
no. No, I wasn't.
Okay.
No, I knew better. And this year we have all this new high-techy stuff for buying tickets, etc.
We do. We have a new sales system, and to people in our audience, that means that you could always buy a ticket online, but now you can choose your seat location and purchase that online as well.
We're catching up.
We are.
It's a symphony.
Better late than never,
yeah,
right?
Right.
So, but that's really neat, and so you can do it, when you want to, at all hours of the night, like all people do who work on the internet and do business, on the internet. So that's very exciting for us too.
And you can text us a donation.
You can text us a donation right now. Well, we just finished off our summer concert series, but we have technology now where you can text a certain number and the word music, and it automatically gives us a $10 donation. So as we go forward, it'll be really fun because maybe we can use like one of those thermometers or something and say, hey, we want to reach this amount, and maybe the people in the audience will help us do that. So it'll just be a fun way to interact and support the programs, and it supports the music and education programs.
And I'd like to say you'll feel younger if you text a donation. It'll make you feel so
we'll
with
be right with it.
Yeah, and you can do it while you're wearing a symphony T-shirt.
Absolutely. We have caricature T-shirts now, and so those are sold at all the concerts. So we're trying to do some fun stuff that appeals to everybody, and they're black T-shirts with a caricature on the back.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you for being here to tell us about the opening concert and gala on September 25th. And thank you for watching. We'll be back again next week with another edition of Eye on the Arts. Eye on the Arts is made possible in part by South Shore Arts, the Indiana Arts Commission, and the National Endowment for the Arts, a federal agency.